On today's episode, we have updates on the standard range Model 3 with a new battery pack and the return of the standard range Model Y. Tesla applies to become an electricity provider in Texas. FSD Beta version 10 is coming soon, and Model Y pre-production has begun at Giga Texas. So let's get going. Tesla is updating the American-made Model 3 Standard Range Plus to now include their lithium iron phosphate or LFP battery pack. This is the same battery that has been powering the Chinese-made version of this car for the past year. Tesla has contacted its North American customers who are waiting on delivery of the Model 3 Standard Range Plus. In an email, the company offered buyers the opportunity to receive their vehicle several months earlier than the expected delivery date, which is currently sitting at January 2022. Tesla explained that customers now have the opportunity to get the Model 3 with the same battery pack that has already been released to Europe and Asia, and they can get one of those cars as early as September. The difference between this new version of the Model 3 and the one that has been on sale in North America for years is the battery chemistry. The new standard range battery pack uses iron instead of nickel for its cathode material. The iron phosphate batteries don't pack as much energy density as nickel-based cells, but they are much cheaper to make, and iron is a much more readily available metal than nickel, hence the faster delivery time. The downside is going to be a 10-mile loss in range with LFP batteries. This takes the Model 3 Standard down from 263 miles of range to 253 miles. But aside from that, the new Model 3 should be indistinguishable from the current one. 0 to 60 acceleration for the LFP pack is still rated at 5.6 seconds, the same as the nickel battery. Elon Musk responded to the announcement on Twitter, writing, "Our intent with this pack is that product experience is roughly equivalent between nickel and iron. I'd personally slightly opt for the iron pack as it wants to be charged to 100%, whereas nickel prefers about 90%. LFP batteries are also known to have a much longer cycle life than traditional lithium-ion batteries, meaning that they can be charged and discharged more times before the battery starts to degrade." This change shouldn't come as much of a surprise for Tesla owners, as we know that Elon has been talking about a transition to iron-based cells for low-range cars since Battery Day. During Tesla's Q2 earnings call, Elon said, "I think probably there is a long-term shift more in the direction of iron-based lithium-ion cells rather over nickel." Continuing to say, "I think probably we'll see a shift. My guess is probably to 2/3 iron, 1/3 nickel, or something on that order. And this is actually good because there's plenty of iron in the world. There's an insane amount of iron, but nickel, there's much less nickel, and there's way less cobalt." This embrace of LFP battery chemistry in North America also sets us up for the return of the Model Y standard range option. You might remember this option being available in January for just about a week on the Tesla website before vanishing completely. It's a single-motor rear-wheel drive variation that was originally listed with 244 miles of range. This car was never sold in North America, but has just now been launched overseas with production at Giga Shanghai. The Chinese-made standard range variations of both the Model 3 and Model Y use a lithium iron phosphate cell that is manufactured for Tesla by third-party battery maker CATL. Sources point to Model Y standard range production coming to Tesla's Fremont plant in Q4 of this year with the same LFP battery pack as the Shanghai build. Tesla is following through with their promise to fix the electrical grid in the state of Texas by applying to become their own electricity provider. Since Texas has deregulated the electricity market, pretty much anyone can become their own electrical company in the state, for better or worse. At the time of the Texas blackouts in February 2021, there were over 120 different companies supplying electricity to consumers. Many experts have blamed this patchwork system for making the February crisis much worse for the people of Texas than it should have been. Tesla intends to sell electricity directly to consumers in Texas, as evidenced by its filing this month with the State Public Utilities Commission. The application was filed by a new Tesla subsidiary called Tesla Energy Ventures. Possible approval of the application is expected in November. Another of Tesla's subsidiaries, registered as Gambit Energy Storage LLC, is already building over 100 megawatts of energy storage in Angleton, Texas, which is 40 miles south of Houston. A battery of this size could power about 20,000 homes with their HVAC system turned on. Tesla has also told the state's grid operator that it wants to build an even more powerful giant battery pack for utilities that will serve the state's wholesale electricity companies. The new 250 megawatt battery will be located near Tesla's Gigafactory in Austin. Of course, this all comes after winter storms in February knocked out power to large areas of Texas, with blackouts lasting days or even weeks in certain parts of the state. Among those affected was Elon Musk and his family, who now reside full-time in Texas. The power disruptions also caused a shutdown of construction on Tesla's new manufacturing plant in Austin. Version 10 of Tesla's full self-driving beta program is expected to release this Friday, September 3rd, according to Elon Musk. It looks like Tesla will be skipping over their initial schedule to release a version 9.3 of the software, going straight from 9.2 to version 10. This is a big deal for a couple of reasons. Number one, we know that Elon is surprisingly not very happy with the current build of the software. He said on Twitter, FSD Beta 9.2 is actually not great in my opinion, but Autopilot/AI team is rallying to improve as fast as possible. Elon says he has been testing out version 9.3 in his own car and found it much improved. So it's safe to assume that the jump to version 10 will be a huge upgrade to the software that should iron out a lot of the bugs that we are still seeing with the FSD beta. Reason number two that this is a big deal, the long anticipated download button. Elon has been promising that version 10 of the beta software will open up the option for new testers outside of the original group of about 1,000 trusted insiders. In theory, any Tesla owner in the US who has purchased full self-driving should get a download button that allows them to opt into beta testing the new software. Elon is saying that won't come immediately with the first build of version 10, but probably about 4 weeks on from the first release. We've got a new leaked photo from Tesla's new Gigafactory in Austin, Texas that shows a completed Model Y on the production floor. The photo comes from a now deleted Instagram post and shows one black Model Y on the factory floor and a second one in the background that is still sitting on some kind of conveyor. This is the strongest proof we've seen yet that pre-production of the Model Y has in fact started at the Austin facility. Now, before we get too excited, it's really important to remember that these will just be pre-production cars. They're like test runs to calibrate the factory equipment and machines. These cars aren't street legal and will never be delivered to customers, but it's still a pretty insane amount of progress for a factory that only broke ground 13 months ago. The expectation from Tesla is that Model Y deliveries from Giga Texas will happen by the end of this year, and seeing the beginning of pre-production right now fits pretty well with that timeline. We first saw the pre-production Model Y from Tesla's factory in Shanghai appear in September of 2020, with deliveries coming in mid-January 2021. So we are at least a few weeks ahead of that in Texas. It's also more likely that the rollout time will be shorter in this case because this is now the third time that Tesla has ramped up a Model Y production line, and the supply chain for this car has already been in place in the United States for nearly 2 years. I think we can expect the Made in Texas Model Y to hit the streets in America as early as November. The only bad news here is that the Texas Model Y will basically be the exact same car as the one currently built in California, no 4680 battery cells, and no structural battery pack yet. At some point, the production line in Texas will transition to the next-gen Model Y, but we really don't have any indication when that might be. For more Tesla news delivered straight to your inbox, make sure to subscribe to our Tesla Space newsletter. We keep you up to date on all things Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and Boring Company in one quick and fun to read package. Link in the description to sign up. It's theteslaspace.com. And make sure to drag our emails over into your primary inbox so we don't get lost in the promotions tab. Also, don't forget to check out our new Space Race channel and subscribe over there for even more space exploration content. As always, if you want to continue to learn about everything regarding Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk, we've got 2 more video options for you on the screen to check out. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up today if you liked it, and subscribe to our channel for weekly content just like this.